Right, buddy, welcome back to your latest Manchester United news. We'll be talking Sandro Tonali transfer blow. We've got some updates on Matthias de Ligt and his potential return date from injury. We'll talk about some other things as well that's gone on around the midfield. Some updates from Andy Mitten about getting a number 6, Bruno Fernandes, Luke Shaw, Mason Mount, new stadium. But this is what's being reported on Sandro Tonali. So it came out yesterday. This is what has been said from Andy Mitten. Manchester United have looked at Tonali at Newcastle. My understanding is that Newcastle do not want to sell him. That means the player would really have to push. There's some background stuff with him, the gambling stuff that caused some real nervousness at Manchester United. So that was yesterday. Then later on, we got the Sandro Tonali race is heating up, with United, Arsenal, City leading the chase. Juventus are interested, but believe the deal could be too costly despite the player's desire to return to Italy. In terms of other midfielders, this is what Andy Mitten had to say on Carlos Baleba and Adam Wharton. I do know that United have continued to monitor Baleba. Adam Wharton, it was put to me that that's more realistic. That wasn't from inside United. His agent is in Manchester and he's a Lancashire lad, so could potentially be from the agent pushing things. We heard that the only reason the Ugarte deal got done with United was because of the links with his agent, which is something that was interesting. Now, on Tonali, I think he's someone who's definitely going to have to push for a move if he wants to leave. In terms of him and Bruno Guimaraes, there were talks about only one of them potentially leaving. What I would say about that is, again, I think Tonali is less likely to push for a move than Guimaraes from what's been reported. I think certainly both of those midfielders are definitely options. I mean, Tonali, Anderson, all these top level midfielders are going to have competition from a lot of top Premier League clubs. So it's all about whether Manchester United can provide Champions League number one. I think ultimately the project is there. We're talking about a new stadium in a moment. Hopefully getting a top level manager, or whether that's Carrick, continue with him and ultimately see the vision. I think this season's been better than expected in terms of the last kind of few months since the turn of the year. I think the way in which we're playing, the ability, if we do get Champions League, we'll be able to attract better players. I think that will be a key factor. Again, there's no kind of denying that a lot of Premier League clubs are going to be interested in him. So, yeah, it could be a bit of a transfer blow. I think right now it's too early to say which club he's going to go to, whether he actually leaves Newcastle yet. But it's certainly something to definitely look at. Now, the next thing, De Ligt is hopeful of playing for Manchester United again this season. Listen, De Ligt, I talked about him the other day. I wouldn't sell him yet. There's nothing that I would kind of do there. There's no reason for me to sell him yet. I think if the next season the injuries persist and he's getting the same injuries, or he's out for a period of time where you can't really rely on him, that's when you look at selling De Ligt, in my opinion. I think he's someone who still has so much to offer. He's a top level centre half. And I think he's someone who, when he's fit, would be my starting centre-half on the right-hand side alongside with Martinez. Now, again, there wouldn't be sort of any desire or any need to rush him back, because the games, I know we do have a lot of important games coming up. I think Martinez is expected to be back for the Leeds game. You've got Maguire, you've got Euro, you've got Heaven. There's no need to rush back De Ligt, in my opinion. I know he's a quality player, but I don't. If you rush him and then you increase the chance of him getting a recurring injury, so I just don't think there's any point there. But it's good that he's getting closer to a return. I would just kind of keep him out. Don't rush him back, and kind of just wait till next season now. Now, Manchester United have confirmed a new 100,000 seat at Old Trafford will be financed privately, and positive conversation with potential investors and stakeholders are ongoing. So we know United definitely do want a new stadium. That's something that hasn't been sort of denied. I think that's going to be something that takes a long time, maybe 4 or 5 years, maybe even 6 years. I think it's something that United want. Ratcliffe has pushed it heavily, and it's looking like he's going to be getting it. A new stadium now, 90,000, 100,000 seats. It's going to cost around £2 billion for the total building, and I think it's good for United. It's a new kind of, I think Old Trafford was in need of severe renovations, and also 100,000 seater would make it one of the biggest, or probably the biggest in the UK. So I think that's something which as well United would try to have. It allow them to bring in revenue from concerts, and I think it's definitely something that United have needed to do for a while. You've seen the leaks, the sort of Old Trafford was becoming damaged. So new stadium soon. Again, we don't know how it's going to be kind of sourced and how the money's going to come, but ultimately that's going to be done privately. Now, Mason Mount. If you're any club in the Premier League, or in Spain, how can you afford Mount? He has a bad injury record over the past few years. He's on between 150 to 200k. It's hard. It's a hard player to justify needing him, paying wage and stamping up a fee of 30 million. I'm confident Mount will be a United player next season because he's too expensive for any club to buy. Listen, Mount, again, he's a very good player. We've seen his quality at times this season and over his time at United. There's no kind of hiding that. I think he's a player who, on the last line, can score a goal, create a chance. And he's someone who's had some important goals this season. He scored a great goal against Crystal Palace. He scored a great goal against Sunderland. And there's other moments in the games where he's looked very, very good. And he's always been someone who, if he's fit, he can kind of get a run of form and be starting in this team. But again, that doesn't happen often enough, and he's not available enough, and that's why I'd consider selling Mason Mount. I think there's no reason for him to stay at the club. United were paying ridiculous wages, but again, that's the one thing that's holding United back from selling him. Now, Luke Shaw, Manchester United believe both the club and Luke Shaw would benefit from him missing the World Cup. It would allow him to have finally a full pre-season and return fit for the start of next season. Listen, I don't think Luke Shaw is going to miss out on the World Cup. That's ultimately, I think, one of the main reasons he's been playing every game for United, so he can get into that World Cup squad. So if he didn't get into the squad for the next England camp, but he'd definitely be eyeing up returning for the World Cup. And I think that's why there's no coincidence that you see a fit Luke Shaw and a very good Luke Shaw in a World Cup year. I think it would benefit both United and the club if you do keep him, but I just don't think that's going to happen. But that has been your latest update.